Hey people. I don't know. I think Australia is extremely confused. I mean, what the hell are people thinking? What the hell are people thinking? Apparently, this, a kirpan, the knife, is allowed to be worn to school. This is a weapon, okay? It's a weapon. If I hung a knife of any sort on myself and walked around, I would get arrested immediately. Immediately. If I had it in my car and it was found by the police, if I was stopped or whatever, it's classed as a weapon and I would be in deep shit immediately. It turns out that in New South Wales, apparently, and I don't know what other parts of Australia, this is legal, or it was. 6 meat over kirpan ban. Dozens of members from Australia's Sikh community last night held a Zoom meeting with the Education Minister, Sarah Mitchell, to discuss their concerns about a ban on religious knives at New South Wales schools. The ban came into effect this week after a 14-year-old boy allegedly used a kirpan to stab a 16-year-old boy. Are you people fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? You disarm Australia, but you're allowing children and people with a religious belief to carry weapons, because that's what it is. You can hide it under whatever name you want. It is a weapon. It is a weapon. The minister told the ABC afterwards it was a good discussion with Sikh leaders, and they agreed to work together to find an appropriate solution to the issue. Well, let me tell you something. If children, and not just children, but I'm assuming if the children are allowed to wear this to school, then their parents of the same religious belief are wearing it as well. So we can say that under my religion, I am allowed to wear or carry a gun. Can I take you to court for that and fight for my religious rights? Don't get me wrong, people. I'm all for people holding on to their culture, okay? I'm all for people holding on to their culture, to the way that they dance, to the way that or the food that they eat, the way that they choose to dress. I'm all for that, okay? I'm all for that. But when it comes to carrying a weapon, here in Australia, you're either arming all of us or giving us that right, or you're disarming all of us. And nobody is exempt. Because like I said, and I have nothing wrong with the Sikhs, I have no idea about their past, I have no idea about the trouble in their country, none of that. Yes, I've heard it a bit here, a bit there, but come on, people. Come on. That's like me saying, well, this gun that I'm wearing, it's a religious gun. It comes under my religious belief. We're not talking about a person's dress code, okay? We're talking about a parent's dress code. And what is it that you say to the 16-year-old boy's parents? What do you say? Because I tell you what, if I was his parents, or his parent, all hell would be flying. All hell would be flying. I never taught my kids to be racist. I never taught my kids to look down upon anybody. But you're going to allow children and certain religious beliefs to carry weapons, but the rest of us get disarmed where we're not allowed? Somebody needs to wake the fuck up somewhere, because something is seriously wrong in this country. Seriously fucking wrong. Like I said, you either arm everybody or you disarm everybody. But just look at that, people. Look at that. That means we now have the right, okay? We now have the right, everybody go out and get one of these and wear it. Wear it. Or buy yourself a weapon of any sort and put it under your religious belief. Like, you're kidding me. This is in a school. You get people to, oh, you got to wear a mask. You might catch something. Wear a mask. Wear a mask. A mask is going to save you. Wear a mask. But you're allowing kids to literally wear knives to school. Are we on I really don't know what fucking planet I'm on anymore. I really don't. Like I said, I have nothing against people that follow their own belief system, okay? That follow their, like I said, their culture, I should say. Their culture, their way of life. I find it extremely interesting, you know? The foods that the way that they dress, their dance costume, whatever. I have nothing against anybody doing that. But this, I have a problem with. Like I said, you either arm everybody or you disarm everybody. And sure, you might say, oh, well, there's the kitchen knife. The kitchen knife is in the kitchen. The kitchen knife is in the kitchen. I don't slap that kitchen knife on me every time I go out. And then you may turn around and say, oh, well, you don't understand. Well, what part of it don't I understand? Okay, let's go over here. The kirpan is a sword or a knife of any size and shape carried by Sikhs. It is also part of a religious commandment given by Guru, not by God, by Guru Gobind Singh in 1699, in which he gave an option to the Sikhs. If they accepted, they must wear the 5 articles of faith at all times, the kirpan being one of 5 Ks. So it can be a sword or a knife of any size and shape. Right there. The Sikhs defend students' right to carry ceremonial daggers to school. Are you blind, people? Can you not read what's happening there? Is everybody fucking blind? Like I said, I'm not a racist person. I'm not a racist person. I really aren't. I've lived in Indonesia. I've travelled. I love people from different countries because they have so much to share. But you don't come into a country and people might jump and go, oh, well, you're against foreigners. No, I'm not against foreigners because I'm a foreigner. With the surname that I carry, with the surnames that my children carry, we will never be classed as true Australians. On a piece of paper, you might tick it, if you're a citizen or whatever. Yeah, you're a citizen, da-da-da. But if people are going to look at the fact whether you're a true Aussie or whatever, with a foreign surname, you can never be that. I don't care what anybody says. So it's not that. To me, Children carrying knives for whatever purpose or under the guise of a belief system to school is obviously not good for anybody. And like I says, what do you think is going to happen? Now that this has started, you think other kids aren't going to be taught to carry knives to school? They may not show it, they may hide it. Where do you think this is going to lead? I can see this ending up in a real shitty situation. We came to this country. The country accepted us. Will I be an Australian first? No, I'll always be Croatian first. That's where I was born. It's where I was born. I actually wasn't even born in Croatia. I was born in a country called Yugoslavia. I will always be that first. My kids growing up, I taught them to speak Slav. I taught them to eat Slav food. I'm not against that. But people that come here need to know you're in a foreign country. You're in a different country. A country that allows you your belief system, but to a certain degree. To a certain degree. And this country cannot disarm its own citizens, okay, its own people, but allow other people to come in and carry whatever it is that they want on their hip. How does that work? Because tomorrow, if something happened, I would like to know that I can defend myself. Sadly, here in Australia, majority of us, the only thing we have left is the fork in your kitchen. You know, your salad fork. Use that. Use that. So you either disarm everybody or you allow people to start carrying whatever they want to carry. And again, I could go to court tomorrow and say that the gun that I'm wearing on my hip, which I'm not, but, you know, let's pretend the gun that I'm wearing on my hip is allowed under my religious belief. Does that make it right? Does that make it right? I have a compromise. Make them plastic. You know, like the toy guns you find in the shop. You know, when you go to stab somebody with it, it bends. Make it one of those. Otherwise, Australia, you need to seriously either start arming yourselves up or the government needs to put a stop to this. Because this is not depriving you, by not wearing that, it's not depriving you of food. It's not depriving you of a place to live. It's not depriving you of wearing what you want to wear. Me personally, if I had kids at a school where kids were allowed to wear this on their hip, I would not be sending my kids to that school. I wouldn't. Because as you can see, we're all human. People get angry. People get angry. People get pissed off. It only takes a second to take somebody's life. Anyway, I'm not liking this society we're living in at all.